The crystalline chamber of the Galactic Council fell silent as Ambassador Vextai's four eyes widened in disbelief. The holographic display before them showed the impossible. 3 entire hegemony fleets reduced to floating debris in the span of mere hours. "This cannot be accurate," hissed Council Prime Zephon, their serpentine form coiling with agitation. "The humans possess primitive kinetic weapons at best. Our intelligence reports. Your intelligence reports were wrong." The voice cut through the chamber like a plasma blade. All heads turned toward the human delegation as Jack Morrison stepped forward, his weathered face bearing the scars of a dozen colonial conflicts. Behind him, Daisy Chen adjusted her neural interface, data streams flickering across her augmented retinas. Jack's boots echoed against the polished floor as he approached the central podium. "You want to know what happened to your precious hegemony fleets? I'll tell you exactly what happened." The assembled aliens, Vorthak traders, Selenian diplomats, and crystalline collective representatives leaned forward despite themselves. In the 3 standard years since humanity had been granted provisional membership in the Council, they had been dismissed as a backwater species, barely worth the oxygen they breathed. 48 hours ago, Jack began, his voice steady and cold. Your hegemony friends decided that Earth looked like easy pickings. They thought our agricultural colonies would make nice additions to their slave worlds. He paused, letting the weight of his words settle. They were wrong. Daisy stepped beside him, her fingers dancing across a holographic interface. The chamber's main display shifted, showing tactical readouts that made several council members recoil. The first fleet arrived at Kepler 442b expecting frightened farmers, Jack continued. Instead, they found Jack Morrison's mining consortium had been expecting them for weeks. A grim smile crossed his features. Funny thing about humans, we don't just mine asteroids, we weaponize them. The display showed massive orbital platforms launching what appeared to be simple metal slugs. But as the hegemony ships approached, those slugs revealed their true nature. Each one a precisely calculated kinetic projectile moving at a significant fraction of light speed. Relativistic kill vehicles. Daisy spoke for the first time, her voice carrying the clinical precision of a weapons engineer. 16 tungsten rods, each weighing approximately 50 tons, accelerated to 0.27 C using our primitive fusion drives. Ambassador Vextai's mandibles clicked nervously. Impossible. The power requirements alone would bankrupt most civilizations, Jack nodded. Lucky for us, humans are really good at 2 things: making war and making things go boom. He gestured to the tactical display showing the aftermath. The first fleet never knew what hit them. Council Prime Zephon's scaled hide had gone pale. Surely the second and third fleets learned from— Oh, they learned all right. Jack's expression grew darker. They learned that humans don't just fight with ships and stations. We fight with everything. The display shifted again, showing the outer system of Kepler 442b. What had appeared to be empty space suddenly erupted with activity as thousands of previously invisible objects revealed themselves. Stealth mining drones, Daisy explained matter-of-factly. We'd been seeding them throughout the system for months. Each one armed with a small nuclear warhead and programmed with one simple directive: RAM, anything that isn't broadcasting human IFF codes. The council watched in stunned silence as the display showed swarms of tiny craft overwhelming massive hegemony. Dreadnoughts through sheer numbers and suicidal determination. The third fleet tried to be clever, Jack said. They jumped in at the edge of the system, figuring they'd bombard us from long range. He shook his head. Poor bastards didn't realize we'd hollow out the system's asteroid belt and turn the whole thing into a weapon. This time, the display showed something that defied conventional military thinking. The asteroids themselves began moving, not randomly but with purpose. Hundreds of massive rocks, each one fitted with hidden thruster arrays, converged on the hegemony positions like a closing fist. It took 18 hours, Daisy added, pulling up casualty reports that made several council members physically ill. Complete tactical annihilation. No survivors. The chamber remained silent for long moments before Councillor Threshma of the Selenian Diplomatic Corps managed to find their voice. The scale of destruction. It's unprecedented. How many human lives were lost in this battle? Jack and Daisy exchanged a look. Human casualties? Jack asked. 17. 17,000? Zephon whispered. 17 total, Daisy corrected. Mining accident on Platform 7. Nothing to do with the fighting. The silence that followed was absolute. In the space of 2 days, humanity had destroyed 3 of the most powerful fleets in known space, while suffering fewer casualties than a minor industrial accident. You have to understand, Jack said, his voice carrying a weight that pressed down on every being in the chamber. This wasn't even our military. This was a mining operation that got interrupted. Our actual battle fleets are still 3 months out from the colonies. Ambassador Vexthai's voice was barely audible.
What?
What are you? Jack looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of creatures who had dismissed humanity as primitive savages just hours before. When he spoke, his words carried the authority of a species that had clawed its way up from a single world to touch the stars through sheer bloody-minded determination. We're humans, he said simply. And we really don't like bullies. The Galactic Council would later mark this moment as the beginning of a new, one where the galaxy's newest members taught the oldest civilizations that there were worse things than being conquered. Sometimes there was being human.